Alright, if you were seeing this video, then that means Nintendo has officially announced the June 2024 Nintendo Direct. I made this video in advance and I basically have it upload as soon as the Nintendo Direct gets announced, and that's because the Nintendo president already confirmed that there is going to be a Nintendo Direct happening at some point this month, and this was announced inside of their investors meeting that happened in May, where he basically confirmed the existence of their next generation system, and then also said for the people who have their Nintendo Switches this year, there was going to be a Nintendo Direct that was going to be happening in June 2024, which was going to give some of the other games that are coming out for the rest of the year. And so this is going to be the predictions video where I'm going to talk about some of the announcements and reveals that I feel like are going to happen inside of this Nintendo Direct, and we're going to talk about things that I feel like are pretty likely and some hopes and wishes that I feel like would be really awesome as well. And so this video really isn't going to have a ton of editing because it pretty much does get outdated as soon as the Nintendo Direct happens like the next day, and then no one's really going to care about the predictions anymore. So instead, feel free to just kind of tab out and listen to my thoughts if you want to in the background. That's totally fine as well. Now, before we even get into the predictions, I feel like the first thing that we really need to talk about is exactly how important this Nintendo Direct is going to be, because I really do think that this is probably going to be the final Nintendo Direct of the current Nintendo Switch's generation, in the sense that this is going to be the final Nintendo Direct where it is going to be focused only on the current Nintendo Switch's games. Nintendo's president already did confirm the next generation Nintendo system, and that the Switch 2 is going to be revealed before the end of Nintendo's fiscal year, which ends in March of 2025, but he also explicitly did say that this Nintendo Direct is not going to have any mention of the Switch 2 or their next-gen system at all, and it's only going to be focusing on the current Nintendo Switch. And so that really makes me think that around like the fall time, when we usually get another Nintendo Direct around like September, it's very possible that that Nintendo Direct could actually talk about current Nintendo Switch games, but also games that are going to be coming out for the next gen system as well, as I feel like it could be possible that around that time, like right before then, we might already get the reveal for their next system. And I feel like this is a good mindset to have when talking about predictions and even watching the Nintendo Direct, because it really kind of gives you an idea for where to set your expectations, because obviously if this is going to be the final Nintendo Direct for the current generation, they're not really going to be having like a ton of crazy surprises or heavy hitters or anything, and it's most likely going to be like ports and remakes and remasters and that type of stuff to kind of just have other content for people to play, but they're not going to be hiding like a Super Mario Odyssey 2 inside of this Nintendo Direct. All that type of crazy stuff is going to be saved for their next system. Alright, but actually talking about the predictions here, the first thing that I feel like we should talk about are two things that have already been officially announced by Nintendo, and the first one is Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. Now this is of course a game from the 3DS with Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. It's being remastered for the Nintendo Switch with like upgraded visuals and stuff. I'm really hoping that they don't spend too much time talking about this game, but considering it does come out at the very end of June, I feel like this Nintendo Direct is probably going to give like a little reminder for people that this game is coming out just around the corner. The second one is actually one that they shadow dropped in terms of the announcement for it, and that is Nintendo World Championships NES Edition. So this was an announcement that they actually did in terms of just a Twitter tweet and I think a YouTube video, where it's basically just the Nintendo World Championships but a bunch of like classic NES games, and it's kind of like a mix up of them that is going to be coming out on the Nintendo Switch. I think it's coming out in like July, so I feel like for the people who maybe didn't see this announcement inside of like the YouTube video, or maybe they didn't see the tweet or anything, they might give like a little kind of refresher for people who didn't see that and just give like a more formal announcement for this inside of the Nintendo Direct. Now, something that usually doesn't happen inside of Nintendo Directs, but I feel like it has a possibility of happening this time, is getting the first ever gameplay reveal for Pokemon Legends ZA. Now this was the brand new Pokemon game that they revealed on Pokemon Day back in February of this year, and we're going to be going back to the Kalos region inside of this game, and it's going to be about the construction of Lumio City. So it sounds pretty cool, but we don't actually have any real gameplay for what it's going to look like and what the actual gameplay of like throwing the Pokeballs and running around and what the actual like graphics and game is going to be. We just kind of have like this little teaser with like Pikachu running around and stuff, so maybe it's possible that we're actually going to see what this game looks like, because usually we do get like a Pokemon Presents that happens around August, but then again they've also shown Pokemon stuff inside of Nintendo Directs in the past, and even inside of the June Nintendo Direct that happened last year, we actually got a look at the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC, so I feel like it is very possible that we might see some Pokemon stuff inside of this Direct as well. Now, in terms of a big Nintendo Switch game that is still left to be shown for the first time, we've got Metroid Prime 4. Now, this is a game that's always gotten a lot of discussion because it's pretty much gotten to the point now where there's a lot of people thinking that this game isn't even going to come out for this current Nintendo Switch anymore, and that Nintendo is just saving it for their next-gen system, and it's going to be a Switch 2 game. I still very much believe that this is going to be a game for this current Nintendo Switch. Now, that being said, there is a possibility that they might release like a next-generation version, or they might have like a better version of Metroid Prime 4 on the next system to really kind of showcase like how good the graphics look on the next system and some of the other features and capabilities that the Nintendo Switch 2 can do. But besides that, I still feel like the game is going to be coming out on the current Nintendo Switch. I mean, the Nintendo Switch right now has an install base that is really good. I think there's over like 130 million people who have a Nintendo Switch, and I mean, Metroid really isn't like a super insanely like selling type of series, and I feel like Nintendo wouldn't want to have that on a brand new system that nobody's gonna have when it first comes out. So instead, putting it on the system that has 100 million of them outside definitely makes a lot more sense, and I feel like that's probably what they're gonna do. And there is definitely some people out there who still bought a Nintendo Switch for Metroid Prime 4, so you can't make that promise that the game is gonna be coming out on the Switch and then just being like, sorry guys, it's not coming out for this anymore, we're moving it to our next system. So yeah, I feel like it is definitely still going to come out for the current Switch, maybe also a next gen version. But then I also feel like they are definitely going to show the first ever look at Metroid Prime 4 finally inside of this Nintendo Direct. I mean, this is definitely going to be the final Nintendo Switch like focused Nintendo Direct. So if we don't see Metroid Prime 4 inside of this, I think that's very telling of like exactly what kind of state the game is really going to be in. So I feel like it's possible that this is probably going to be the Nintendo Direct's finisher, where they're really going to finally kind of hype up the Metroid Prime 4, and we're really going to see kind of exactly what this game finally looks like. Now, going off of that, we also had the first Metroid Prime game, which got a remaster that got shadow dropped inside of a Nintendo Direct last year, and I feel like it is possible that we might see remasters for Metroid Prime 2 and 3 as well, because having all of those games available for people to play them and catch up on everything before Metroid Prime 4 comes out, I feel like just makes the most sense, so we're gonna have to see what they decide to do with that. The next thing here is two games that I feel like everybody always talks about when it comes to Nintendo Direct predictions, and that is The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD. Both of these games are still on the Wii U, and they are very easy to really port over to the Nintendo Switch, and a lot of people would love to have them. I feel like with these Zelda games, I mean, having a double pack for them or something would be really awesome, but everybody just keeps asking for these over and over, and I feel like it's just a very easy kind of re-release for Nintendo to do anyway, so I'm just gonna keep putting it here because everybody else does as well. I think it would be pretty exciting. I would definitely get it if it is a double pack with them and it costs $60 or something, but if they're trying to like sell the re-release for them and they're each going to be $60, then I'm probably just going to skip on it. Like, I don't really need to get those games then if that's the case, but I feel like that there is a possibility maybe they could make these Zelda games be like their holiday title, because that's also another thing, is that we don't really know what Nintendo is going to do for their holiday season this year, as they always have like that holiday game that comes out like right before Black Friday, like right before Thanksgiving, and the question really becomes like, what is it going to be this year? Because last year they had Mario with like Mario Wonder, and then usually they have like a Pokemon game, but they don't even have that this year because Pokemon is taking a break as it's going to be working on Legends EA, which is coming out next year. So what's really going to be like the big holiday game for Nintendo? I think that is going to be very interesting to see. The next game that I have here is one that has been rumored for literally years now, and that is a remake of Fire Emblem 4 Genealogy of the Holy War. This is actually a game that has been rumored since like before Fire Emblem Engage was even revealed, and I think these rumors really started coming out in like 2021 when the rumors were saying that Nintendo was apparently sitting on an entire completed remake of Fire Emblem 4 Genealogy of the Holy War. This was a Fire Emblem game that only came out in Japan, so essentially for everyone who doesn't live in Japan, this would be like a whole brand new Fire Emblem game, given that you haven't played like the fan translated version. So this is a game that I know a lot of people are kind of looking forward to. I'd be pretty excited. I've never played it, but I've heard Fire Emblem 4 does have a really good story, so I'd be interested in getting this game, and I feel like it's possible that the Nintendo Direct is probably going to open up with this. I feel like just having like this one last kind of Fire Emblem remake, it'll probably be like branded as like an Echoes game too, just having that on the Nintendo Switch right before the end of like the major support for the system, I feel like it just makes a lot of sense. Now, I pretty much always say this, but one of my biggest wishes for a game to get remade or remastered on the Nintendo Switch, or even the Switch 2 at this point, is Kid Icarus Uprising HD, as I feel like Kid Icarus Uprising is one of the best games, if not the best game, on the Nintendo 3DS, and this is a game that really is just kind of perfect, but it gets held back from the fact that you have to use the really kind of wonky controls that are on the Nintendo 3DS, as you don't have like access to having like two proper joysticks, and I really feel like if they were able to do that and kind of have that on the Nintendo Switch, this game with a Pro controller would just be so much fun to play in HD, and at this point I'd be happy if it comes out on this current Switch or even the next one, but I really feel like this is a game that deserves to have proper controls and really be able to be played on a full console type of system, as it is a really good game, one of the best games that Masahiro Sakurai has made, so I would love to see this game get remade or remastered or something on the Switch, but I don't really know if that's going to happen. Now, I think this next one was either leaked or rumored, but there was like a recent trademark or something that happened for Kirby and the Rainbow Curse, which was a Kirby game that came out on the Wii U, and this was the one where I think you were using like the Wii U gamepad to kind of draw like these little rainbow paths for Kirby to walk on and stuff, and like I don't know how they would make that work with the Nintendo Switch if this game is getting like remastered or remade or something for that, so they'd probably have to rework the controls and stuff a little bit, like maybe use the joystick to kind of draw your path and stuff, but this could just be like one of those kind of like filler kind of remakes and remaster types of games that they could have for the end of the year, end of the support for the Nintendo Switch, so maybe that is something that we could be seeing. And similar to that, in terms of like other kind of just fillery types of games that we could be seeing, a lot of people do think that there is a possibility for another Mario sports game. We've pretty much gotten every type of Mario sports game with like tennis and golf and strikers and everything, but the only one that we're missing now is baseball, so maybe we are going to see like a Mario baseball. Some people also think that we might see like a brand new Mario Party game, as we did get Mario Party Superstars, which came out 3 years ago, so maybe at this point now there's going to be like another Mario Party game, a Super Mario Party 2 or something like that. Now, I know all of the Xenoblade fans, including myself, are really going to be asking for anything with Xenoblade Chronicles X to happen inside of this Nintendo Direct, but if I'm being completely honest with you guys, at this point, I'd rather just have Xenoblade X get something on the next-gen Nintendo system, because having access to that much power, they could definitely make the game look even better on it, and maybe have it even running with better performance and stuff, so honestly, I think I'd rather just have that than them trying to kind of have that game work on this current Nintendo Switch, and it would probably have to do like a lot of crazy stuff in terms of like downscaling the resolution and all of that other stuff to make it work on this. So at this point, I'd rather just have it on the next system, but I figured I would also just mention it inside of this video. But with that, there you go guys, those are pretty much all of my predictions for this upcoming June 2024 Nintendo Direct. If you guys enjoyed them, definitely be sure to click that like button, and also subscribe to the channel as well, as I'm definitely going to have some more Nintendo videos in the future, so definitely be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. Comment down below and let me know what you guys think about all of this as well. What are some of your predictions and hopes and wishes for this upcoming Nintendo Direct? What would you really like to see in it? Definitely be sure to comment down below and let me know. But if you don't have anything to say about this, just comment your favorite emoji down below for some engagement. I would really appreciate it. I am going to be streaming this Nintendo Direct when it does happen, so definitely be sure to go ahead and follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/actualaero. I will also have it linked below in the description and the pinned comment. I would love to see you guys there. I'm probably going to start my stream a little bit early so that we can actually watch this Nintendo Direct together and even talk a little bit about it before it happens, so it should be a pretty good time, so definitely come through there. Go follow me on Twitter at @actualaero so you can be featured in videos, and also join my Discord server as well. We've got a bunch of people in there who are always talking about Pokemon and Smash Bros and Nintendo, so definitely be sure to join that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.